Hey y'all, hi. Here's what happened. I was chatting with my wonderful friends, Simbri of the Instagram account Simbri Thinks and Lauren of the YouTube channel Lauren May Beauty. We were having a Zoom the other evening and we were talking about YouTube and talking about videos, and Lauren and I were talking about what we're filming and how it is to be filming and all of this stuff. And I think that I was saying I was talking about videos that I was filming in December, like videos I had planned for December. And Simbri was like, Hannah, we just want to know what you bought with your budget. And I was like, but I don't know. And she was like, Hannah, the people just want the video about how you spent your budget. And I was like, I'll take it into advisement. I was like, I'll consider it. So that's what we're doing today. I haven't filmed a video like this since the end of the summer. So the last one was, I think, in June, and it was like a spring summer budget comprehensive haul. This video accounts for 5 months of me spending my beauty budget. And I didn't buy anything for like August and I think September. Yeah, like August and September pretty much. There was like a long stretch where I didn't buy anything. So in terms of when I was actually spending the budget, it was kind of scrunched towards the end of the year. But in terms of me and my budgeting life and keeping track of how much I'm spending roughly per month, this accounts for 5 months. It also might not be comprehensive. There might be a couple of little things here and there that I've forgotten because I'm not being as regimented these days about how I keep track of it. I'm just keeping an eye on myself to make sure that I don't spend too much time shopping and that I don't spend too much money. And I've definitely done that. This is like a real quality over quantity situation. Maybe the most extreme one that we've ever had here. So I might forget a few little things, but I've definitely remembered all of the heavy hitters because they're major and there's no way that I could forget them. If this is your first time to my channel, then welcome. I'm really glad you're here. My name is Hannah and I love beautiful things so much that I used to have a problem spending too much money on them. So I've had to take myself in hand. I did a no-buy year, then I did a couple of years of strict budgeting, and I still budget, but I'm doing it in a slightly more relaxed way, kind of letting myself relax into the joy of shopping now that I know that I can trust myself not to go overboard. And every once in a while, I report back to you about what it is that I decided to spend my personal beauty budget on. And that's what we're doing today. If you enjoy this video and you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. You could even do it right now if you've been watching me for a while and you're not subscribed. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. This you've never seen, but it wasn't something that I bought with my budget. This was actually a gift from Julia, my dear friend Julia, with whom I currently live. She gave it to me around the time that Joe and I got married, and I ended up making it part of like my marriage garment outfit. I put it on that evening when it got dark and it got cold, right? So I like wore it on top of my jumpsuit and it was perfect. I don't know if that was what Julia intended when she got it for me, but it ended up being perfect. It's by Ulla Johnson. What a gift. I haven't worn it on camera yet for 2 reasons. One, I was terrified I was gonna get makeup on it. And 2, I don't usually wear white or cream on camera because it's hard to have the color and the lighting like everything else look true when there's like a huge swath of white on screen. But I feel like our lighting's really good right now. The fact that it's winter means that we're not getting blown out from the curtains. And so I just decided to risk it today. And also I'm not handling makeup today. I'm not applying makeup today. I'm just talking about stuff and holding up a bunch of spoiler alert, holding up some expensive garments. That's basically what this video is going to be. Hannah holds up a handful of expensive garments. Which brings me to the first thing on the list, which it's like part of me has not, like, I'm a little uncomfortable talking about it because part of me has not fully allowed myself to acknowledge that I did this. And yet I'm so glad that I did it. I love this garment so much and I don't for a second regret it. And I would go back and do it again. It's just a lot and it really surprised me. And unlike most of my serious, expensive investment purchases, it was sort of a snap decision. So it was I guess it was October, and I had pretty much gone since my last check-in about what I bought with my budget, not spending any of my budget. not buying stuff for myself. I'd been on like a 2.5 month passive no buy. I wasn't really strict with myself, but that was essentially what had happened. I hadn't really bought anything. So I was aware that in my like personal budgeting world, I'd kind of been saving up, passively saving up. And I didn't mean to go shopping I think I was picking up some dinner for like Joe's birthday or something. Like we were ordering in food for Joe's birthday. And I went to pick up the food, but it wasn't ready yet. And I had like a half hour that I had to wait for the food to be ready. And on the street where the restaurant was, there's a shop called American Rag. It's like one of the best shops in LA. And I just went in to hang out in American Rag. It was also maybe one of the first times since the Delta wave. I think it was the first time I'd been out since the Delta wave, since our household had gotten to the point where we felt comfortable with members of the household going into shops masked. So I was like in American Rag clearly with my mask on, but it was the first time I'd like been out shopping in a while. I was like, yes! Oh my God. So I was going around looking at this stuff. Most of the clothing in that shop is very expensive, and I did not have it on my mind that I would buy anything, but they have a denim bar. I think they call it a denim bar, but it's like an entire other shop that's squashed up next to the original American Rag. Is this huge room with all the fanciest and like niche chic denim, the front lines of denim, the next best thing of denim. Like everything is just anything you could imagine, just beautiful. All of the cuts and everything that's like trending, but also timeless. And there's like a whole Levi's section. I was wandering through this denim forest, and I came across a brand of jeans that I'd never heard of. I think it's a really small LA-based brand, and it's called Silver Lake Denim without vowels. It looks like Silver Lake without vowels. Maybe an A. There might be an A. There's no I or E. It's like Silver Lake Denim. I have since learned that Silver Lake Denim is actually carried by Nordstrom's and like on Revolve and stuff like that. So it's not so niche. It's not like nobody's ever heard of it, but I had never heard of it. And the jeans looked really beautiful, and I had time to kill, and I was like, I'm just gonna try on some of these jeans. And I was trying on other jeans too, and a couple of pairs of like wildly expensive sweatpants that I knew that I wasn't gonna buy. It's lovely to like be in a shop trying stuff on, and it was very surreal. And so I was sort of floating surreally through this denim landscape, denim and sweatpants wonder world. And I had put like a couple pairs of pants over my arm, and I was like, I'm going to try these on and get my life. And then I'm going to put them all back, go pick up dinner and go home. So I got into the dressing room, and most of the things that I tried on looked terrible, which is always what happens when I shop for denim, because now we're kind of getting into the crux of this story. I've never really owned a pair of jeans that's like really perfect for me. And what I've always wanted, particularly now because it's like what's in style right now, is a pair of straight-legged, so like not wide-legged, not skinny, but straight-legged, slightly loose fit jeans. I feel like because I have a small waist proportional to my hips, which are quite wide and, quite a rump, because of that, I can never really nail the like boyfriend style jean or the like slightly slouchy jean, because a jean doesn't skim me. If it skims my legs, it's really tight on my hips and thighs, and I don't like that feeling. And if it skims my hips and thighs, then it's like really baggy all the way down the leg. And it's very rare for me ever to find a jean that's high-waisted at all. Again, more common lately because they're starting to come back in style. But my dream jean would be quite high-waisted and just loose enough to feel like it's sort of skimming my body, but not so oversized on me that it makes my legs like look wider than they are. But I like to be comfortable, and especially if it's going to be 100% cotton denim with no stretch, I don't want it to be skin tight. And I just had actually started to think that there was nothing in between really tight denim and super baggy, slouchy, sloppy denim. And I have owned tight denim in the past. I don't really have any more tight denim pants, like stretchy, skinny jeans. I don't have anything like that anymore. And I do have a pair of really sloppy, slouchy, oversized, super high-waisted jeans, which are great. But, in my fantasy, there would be something in the middle. And I truly believed that it didn't exist. But I got into the dressing room. I think maybe you can see where this is going. I got into the dressing room. The first 3 pairs of jeans I tried on, they were all wrong. Like too tight, not high-waisted enough, too high water, just all wrong. And then I pulled on a pair of jeans from this brand, Silver Lake Denim. They just fit like they'd been made for me. And everything that I just described to you was true of them. They came up really high. They skimmed down. They didn't pinch me anywhere on my bottom, on my waist. They skimmed the leg. I looked in the mirror and I was like, you're wearing a pair of not too loose, not too tight, straight leg, slouchy, cool looking jeans. And they fit, and they're high-waisted, and they're not too tight anywhere, and they're not too loose anywhere. It's the unicorn. My friends, they cost $300. They cost $300. And because of who I am, and because of where I've come from, I looked at the price tag and I was like, oh, I can't. I was like, no, I can't buy them, because no matter how perfect they are, I don't spend $300 on jeans. Like, that's not part of my identity. It's not one of the things that I do. $300 jeans are for people who have more money than I do, who spend differently than I do. This isn't my life. No, I actually put them back. I got the food. We went home. We had a beautiful birthday dinner for Joe. And I was like, the story about what happened this evening is that I learned something, which is that there is such a thing as the perfect pair of jeans for me. I mean, I've been trying on jeans since I was a wee thing. Since I was in my adolescence, and I had never tried on a pair that fit. That was how I felt when I put them on. I was like, this is the first pair of jeans that's ever actually fit me. So I was like, I learned a thing. I learned that if you're a person who's willing to spend $300 on jeans, then the jeans of my dreams exist, but I'm not that person, and so I can't have them. I woke up the next morning and I drove to the store and I bought them. Well, I drove to the store and I tried them on again to make sure, and I bought them. And I have never looked back. What happened was I bought them, I brought them home, I've been wearing them constantly, and I love them because I've always wanted to be a person who wears beautiful jeans. I think jeans contribute to an outfit. All of my tops and sweaters, they've just been crying out for jeans. And I just don't usually pair them with jeans because I don't have any jeans that are perfect with everything in that way. The really slouchy high-waisted ones are great, but they only work with specific garments. They don't work with everything. These jeans work with everything. And every occasion, I can wear them out and they look fierce. I can wear them when I'm cooking. I can wear them when I'm running around the house because they're comfortable enough. They have become that thing, that unicorn that I talked about recently in my video about the Baba sweaters, the investment piece. They have made it so that I feel like I don't need to buy another pair of jeans kind of basically ever again. And after I'd had them for a couple of days, I took almost all of the other jeans. I don't have that many other pairs of jeans. I had maybe like 2 or maybe 3 other pairs of jeans. And I was like, I'm going to sell these. And I haven't managed to do it yet, but I think I'm going to take them to Buffalo Exchange or something and sell them. And there's a chance that I might earn from that sale close to the amount that I spent on them. Or, if I take a couple of other garments and I'll sell them, I might actually be able to earn my $300 back from selling clothes that I feel like this one pair of jeans has replaced forever. I kept the super high-waisted slouchy Levi's. That's like the other pair that I kept. But I think all of my other pairs of jeans I'm going to sell. It was weird and it took me a while to get used to. And I think that maybe for the first month I was like, I'm never going to talk about this on YouTube. I'm not going to tell anyone. I'm embarrassed. I can't believe I spent $300 on a pair of jeans. Everyone's going to come for me, blah, blah, blah. But now that I've owned them for a couple of months, it's just like so obvious that it was an excellent decision for me. And I have no question in my mind, and I feel so happy about it, and I would totally go back and do it again. And so I don't feel ashamed anymore, although I'm sure some of you are going to be scandalized. For me, it was an amazing decision. And of course, the circumstances were right. I had the money literally sitting in my bank account that I had saved from the couple months of not buying anything. Are you ready to see the jeans? Here they are. They're kind of black, but they're also kind of blue. They're like a bluish black. I was right. There's an A and an E in lake, but in silver, there's no I and no E. They run a little bit small. Actually, I think I sized up because I usually wear either a 27 or a 28 in jeans. And this pair that fits me in the way that I really love is a 29. They're called the London jean from Silver Lake. And I've seen pictures of this jean. I went and researched it, of course, and I saw it on Nordstrom and I saw it on Revolve, and the models all look like they're wearing really, really cropped high water pants, like their whole ankle is showing. And I'm pretty tall. A lot of times in terms of length for pants, the way that they fit the model will be like the way that they fit me because I'm like 5'9". But the way that they look on the models, it's not at all the way that they look on me. And that might be because I sized up, but it might also be because maybe for some reason this exact pair is like a little bit longer than the London jean usually is. I kind of suspect that that might be the case. It could be the wash, or it could just be that I got super lucky. I don't feel totally confident that if I were to buy another pair of London jeans from Silver Lake Denim in a size 29, that it would fit the exact way that this one does. I feel like there was something about this exact pair that just ended up being perfect for me. But when I went back to buy them, I tried them on again, and I also tried on a size 28. And I think that the 28 is probably my proper size. Like if the designer of these jeans were to choose for me, the designer would be like, oh yeah, you wear a 28. Because the 28 was really tight on like my hips and my bottom. And it definitely like lifted my bottom and was the way that people like jeans to fit, where you're like, my whole hip and bottom area. And it, they were like snug on that part of me and then straight through the leg. And sure, they looked great. And I'm sure that if Joe were picking, he would have picked those for me. But I wanted that like slouchy feeling that every part of the pant is just like skimming the body. And when I sized up, I got that perfect fit in this jean. So I don't know that much about this brand. And obviously, if I can find the London jean online, I'll link it in case you're interested. All I can say for sure is that this magical pair of Silver Lake Denim jeans that I was somehow fortunate enough to come across on that fateful day could be the only pair of jeans that I ever own, like the last pair that I ever buy. Because if I went 36 years without ever trying on a pair of jeans that fit, I might go another 36 years without trying on another pair of jeans that fits. Like this might be the only pair of jeans in the world that fits. And that's okay with me because they're really beautifully made. I mean, they better be for $300. And I think that they're going to last forever. Okay, so that basically accounted for 3 out of the 5 months. And even after I bought them, I was like a little bit shell shocked. And so I kind of went back into like spending freeze mode. And I do think that the next thing that broke me out of spending freeze mode, I purchased this Trixie lip gloss, sheer sparkly taupe lip gloss, and I bought it with my own money just for myself. I've talked about it a lot though on my channel so far, so I'm not going to go into detail about it. If you want to see a swatch, you want to know more about this, then you can watch my video about the most exciting makeup discoveries of 2021, because I talk more in depth about why I love this gloss in that video. But that's something that I bought with my budget, so I had to include it. Then all the stuff with the sweaters happened. So I learned that some moths had eaten 3 of my sweaters into Swiss cheese, like beyond repair. The moths had actually chewed up some other sweaters as well, but I was able to repair the damage on some of them because the knits were fuzzy enough that I could like stitch them back together and you can't see the hole. The ones that they really destroyed were like fine ribbed merino wool or felted wool where there's just no repairing it because they've impacted the surface of the fabric. Like they've taken it, they've removed something that can't really be smoothed over or put back together. So 3 sweaters went the way of the dinosaur, as Joe would say, because of the moths. And so the next thing that I purchased the D-pillar. I guess I got onto like a sweater care kick because of the moth casualties. So I purchased this de-pilling machine, which I talked about in the Baba sweater review. It's incredible. And I've been able to revive some of my pilly knitwear because of this. And I also purchased some of these bags that are supposed to keep moths from your knitwear. So this is just one of them, but I have a couple. I like that there's this window in the front so you can kind of see what's in there. I don't store them stacked up though, because I like when I zip open the top to be able to see everything. So I sort of store them in the file folding Marie Kondo way. But they seem to be working so far. There's also some like cedar chips and cedar blocks mixed in with my sweaters inside of these. And I bought those too with my budget. So I spent some of my budget on like these protective bags and the D-pillar and the things that I need to make sure that my knitwear, when I invest in it, stays beautiful and whole. And then, armed with those products and feeling the loss of the sweaters that have been eaten by the moths, I bought 2 more sweaters. One is the brown Baba sweater, and I'll link the Baba sweater review down below. Not only did I review both of the Baba sweaters in that video, but I was also wearing my Silver Lake denim jeans in the B-roll with the brown sweater. So if you watched that video and you were like, wow, those look like the best pair of jeans you've ever owned, then you were right. Maybe I can even insert some of that B-roll into this video. We'll see. We'll see if we can do that. Joe might have already archived the footage. Joe is in charge of like which files go where, and he's big on archiving footage. Anyway, this is the first Baba sweater, and I love it so much. I also bought this sweater, which I talked about in my gift guide. This is the Paloma wool Anita sweater. I'm not going to go into detail about why I like those sweaters, again, because there's a whole hour-long review of the Baba sweater, and I was pretty detailed in my gift guide about why I like the Anita sweater from Paloma wool, because I was talking about why I think it makes a good gift. And I was even wearing it in that video. And so I stood up and like gave you some footage of the way that it looks on my body. I did buy myself some stuff on Black Friday. I made a whole video about being worried that I was going to lose control and overspend on Black Friday. And I made a strategy, which was to either buy nothing or only spend a certain amount, or to spend under a certain amount. And I ended up going with the second strategy. The sweater, the Black Friday sweater, it was a bit of a roundabout story. If you watched the Baba review and you saw my note underneath it, you'll know what happened. I had actually bought this sweater much earlier. As soon as the brown one arrived and I saw how awesome it was, I was like, I have to get one of these for my mom for Christmas. So I purchased this sweater for her, and it had arrived. I hadn't opened it yet, but it had been sitting in its package, and I was just going to keep it packaged up until I took it to give to her. But I learned that my mom prefers cropped sweaters. Like, she likes sweaters to kind of hit above the waist or at the waist. With my long waist, the brown sweater was like really oversized and like way down past my hip. And I knew that on her, this sweater would be like that, really oversized and way down past her hip. So I was like, I've bought this expensive sweater for my mom, but there's an aspect of the silhouette that isn't her preference, but I still want her to have a Baba sweater. So on Black Friday, I took advantage of their sale and I bought her a sweater from the site that's in the same color, but in a slightly different silhouette, a more cropped silhouette that I think she's going to like better. And I decided to keep this one. Financially, for the purposes of bookkeeping and budgeting, I consider this to have been something that I purchased on Black Friday. And then the other thing that I bought on Black Friday, it was sort of a surprise. It's something that I had been thinking for a long time that I wanted. I didn't have my eye on a specific one, and it didn't really even occur to me in the lead up to Black Friday to look for a thing like this. The thing is, a zippered, sort of sturdy zippered leather jewelry box. I have this like tray that I keep my jewelry in, but I don't have anything to store it in that I can like travel with or take from place to place, like that I could easily take from my table to my desk that like contains my jewelry. I don't have a jewelry box, and I have enough jewelry that I was like, I think I need to get a little jewelry box. And I knew what I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to be black leather and zipper, but I wanted it to have like some big compartments in it for my big earrings. So around the time of Black Friday, I just spent some time looking around for one, kind of thinking that if I found the perfect one, I would put it on my Christmas wish list. But when I found the one that I wanted from this brand called the Daily Edit, which I'd never heard of, but they make beautiful leather goods. When I found the one that I wanted, it was on sale because of Black Friday, and the discount was significant. It was like a really good deal, and I just bought it. And here it is. I had it embossed with my little baby initials, HLP. You know, it's not tiny, but it was important to me that it be big enough to store these earrings without damaging them. I have two pairs. This is the Meta earring by Cult Gaia, and I have the feather version and the pearl version. The pearl version isn't as delicate. I've worn these a lot, but in case you have never seen them, this is how they work. The post goes through your ear, and then your earlobe occupies that little space, and it hangs down on either side. The pearl ones aren't as delicate, and they can be sort of folded over and stored in a smaller space, but the feather ones are kind of delicate and difficult to store. In fact, they didn't fit very well in my big jewelry tray either. So I like this one because this tray, which lifts out, has this long compartment, and it's just the perfect size. to fit these earrings and keep them safe. And then underneath, so it lifts out, and underneath there are these compartments, which are also quite hefty. And that was also important to me because I have some kind of sculptural chunky earrings and I wanted to be able to store them as well. So that's what's in there. I've been keeping it. I mean, it's going to come in the most handy for traveling, but I've been keeping it here on my vanity, and it's actually really useful to have my most worn jewelry right here, because when I'm getting ready for filming, I can just like make those decisions right here. Or if I, stop one video and start the next and I'm switching on my earrings or something, I can just do it right here. I actually didn't realize how inconvenient my old method of storing my jewelry was until I got this. So it was definitely an impulsive decision, but it was a good one. And I'm really glad that I decided to buy it. And that's basically it. I did spend a little bit of my budget just very recently on some paper books. So I thought that I would just throw them in here at the end because I do consider like this kind of purchase to come out of my budget. I had fallen back into the terrible habit of having my laptop in bed with me at night. I've talked about this before, but I know that that is like the one thing that will cause my health, like my physical health and sort of consequently often my mental health, to spiral. Like if I'm taking my computer into bed with me at night, even though it's so tempting and it's so hard to break the habit, I end up staying up later. I don't end up sleeping as well. It's harder to get up in the morning. And then the entire next day will kind of be compromised from the beginning because of that. And then I'll feel bad that night. And so I'll feel like I have to have the computer in bed with me so I can distract myself while I'm falling asleep. And it all starts again. So I've had a pretty tough couple of months, and I had really gone hard into like keeping my computer in bed with me at night and watching stuff while I was trying to fall asleep. The solution to that for me always is to buy paper books that I really like to read and to start reading them in bed at night instead of having my computer. And the reason that it even happened, or that I allowed it to happen, in addition to the stress, was just that I had been reading these amazing books, P.D. James, Adam Dalgliesh series. I had made my way through all like 13 or 14 of them, or however many there are. And when they finished, I didn't have other books to take their place. And so I started taking my computer into bed with me. So I decided to purchase the paper versions of these really delightful books by Carrie Greenwood, who is the author of the Phryne Fisher series. I think that the Phryne Fisher series is more famous and has been made into a television show, and so more people have heard of it. But she also wrote this series, which I think is called The Earthly Delights. It's just called the Karina Chapman series, and the first book is called Earthly Delights. I've listened to them on Audible, like I've listened to them as audiobooks and really enjoyed them, but I've only listened to the series through one time and I'd never read them. So I got the first two books. I feel like the art design is ridiculous in like 100 ways. This is not the direction in which I would have gone. And I don't understand why they let somebody do this, because it's just not like this. It's just not like this, okay? They're really great. I mean, honestly, come on. They are character-driven mysteries. The main character is a woman who is a baker and owns a small bakery in Australia. Carrie Greenwood is Australian, and these books are set in Australia, and so are the Phryne Fisher books. They're funny, they're sweet, they're cheeky, they're empowering, and the characters are delightful, and I just can't recommend them enough, especially if you enjoy like light reading that's really, really well written, which is like what this is for me. And that's what I require at night. I also have a couple of poetry books that I just recently bought. I was about to say I buy poetry books all the time, which is kind of true. I have a lot of books of poetry. It's not like I'm constantly buying them, but I tend to be more willing to just buy a poetry book than I am to buy anything else, because my work in poetry is my most important work to me. It's like my work in the world. So it's just a no-brainer for me. And I do also rent books of poetry from the library. I don't only just buy them and buy them and buy them. But I feel also it's like when you buy one, you're supporting a press that releases poetry books. You're supporting a poet, and There's just so little money in poetry and so few people buy poetry books. It's something that I don't feel bad about. I love buying them. I love owning them. And these are the two most recent ones that I purchased. I haven't really gotten into either of them yet, but I do really like Dana Levin's work. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for both of them. And I do kind of feel like this little collection of 4 sort of explains everything about me. That's it. We're done here. That is how I essentially spent my slightly more fluid, but still grounded in reality budget. And when I say slightly more fluid, I mean that I'm not over here like counting every single penny like I did for the first year or 2 after my no-buy year. But when I say still grounded, I mean I'm still paying attention. Like, I know what's in my bank account. I know what my prospects are. I know what I'm comfortable spending. And even though the overall amount that I spend on myself might sometimes suddenly be a little bit more than I thought that it was going to be, or a little bit less. Like, I didn't really actively intend to spend none of my beauty budget in August and September. It just kind of happened because I was like, I think we need a break. Let's just settle down, gather our wits. And then all of a sudden, I hadn't spent anything for 2 months. It still all stays within the scope of what is reasonable for me, which is what is the most important, especially given my history. So I feel like, I think this has especially been true over the past 4 or 5 months. It has been in control without being too tightly controlled. I am now going to take my leave of you wonderful people. I hope that your morbid curiosity has been satisfied. Simbri, I hope you're happy. And you can thank Simbri for the fact that I filmed this video. You can go over to her Instagram, make sure you're following her on Instagram, and leave her a little comment on one of her posts thanking her, because I truly wouldn't have done it if she hadn't reminded me that people like this video. Thank you for watching. You are the best. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.